It's looking like Alyssa Thomas and the Phoenix Mercury are about to be fined after a controversial incident involving her post-game behavior. She basically threw shade, refusing to face the consequences after a heated matchup, and it's clear you can't just come with all the smoke during a game and then disappear when it's time to deal with the fallout. Alyssa Thomas thought she could trash-talk IndianaFever fans, walk off the court after losing, and skip her mandatory media duties without any repercussions. Wrong. The WNBA is stepping up with fines for both her and the Phoenix Mercury for breaking league policies, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. Instant karma is hitting hard. After a tough loss to the Fever at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, despite her stellar individual stats, Thomas's behavior off the court stole the spotlight. She dropped 32 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists, shooting over 63% from the field, which was her first 30-point game of the season. Yet her team still lost badly, 117-101. But the drama really unfolded after the game. Thomas was seen talking trash and engaging with Fever fans, stirring the pot, telling them to keep the booze coming, all while her team was getting beaten. However, once the buzzer sounded, Alyssa Thomas vanished. No media interviews, no accountability, no appearances. This is a blatant violation of the WNBA's 2025 media policy, which requires each head coach and 2 key players, including the team's leading scorer, to be available to the media within 10 minutes after the game ends. Mercury coach Nate Tibbetts and teammate Copper showed up, but Thomas was nowhere to be found, showing a lack of leadership and professionalism. The league has zero tolerance for this kind of disrespect to the media and fans. Fines for such infractions can escalate with repeated offenses, and skipping mandatory media sessions is a surefire way to face financial penalties. Fans have been merciless in calling out Thomas on social media, roasting her for the hypocrisy of trash-talking during the game and then dodging the consequences afterward. This incident is made more complicated by the context of Dana Bonner, Thomas's fiancée, who had previously left the Indiana Fever under tough circumstances after injuries forced the team into hardship contracts. Bonner's return to Indianapolis was met with boos from the Fever fans for leaving the team mid-season, and Thomas was emotionally invested because of her connection to Bonner. But rather than taking the high road, Thomas got involved in heated exchanges with the crowd, then decided to run away instead of handling media questions. The fan backlash has been intense, with many expressing frustration at Thomas for unprofessional conduct and disrespecting league obligations. This isn't an isolated incident either. Thomas has a history of making controversial remarks and engaging in conflicts with fans, which adds to the narrative that she struggles with professionalism when faced with criticism. She has previously spoken about player unity and professionalism in the league, saying things like, "As a league, we stick together," but her actions here tell a different story. The contrast is stark when you compare her behavior to other star players like CaitlinClark, who, despite facing hostile crowds and tough losses, always shows up for the media and handles herself with poise. Thomas's decision to skip media after such a strong personal performance was a missed opportunity to showcase leadership and resilience. Instead, it made her look immature and unaccountable. The Phoenix Mercury organization also shares blame for this incident. They should have ensured Thomas understood her media duties and was prepared to fulfill them regardless of the game's result. The fact she slipped away unnoticed points to a lapse in team accountability. This situation highlights the double standard within the league. Had CaitlinClark skipped mandatory media, the punishment would have been swift and severe. However, because Thomas fits a certain profile and has criticized fans before, some expect she might get leniency. The league needs to prove otherwise by enforcing the rules evenly for all players, no exceptions. This sends a critical message to young athletes and fans watching the league. Professionalism is mandatory. Skipping media obligations undermines the integrity of the sport and the league's reputation. With the Mercury having championship aspirations, distractions like these are unwelcome and potentially damaging to team chemistry. Teammates fulfilled their media duties, but now have to navigate the fallout caused by their star players' poor choice. This incident also raises questions about how the WNBA enforces its policies compared to other major sports leagues, like the NBA, NFL, or MLB, where skipping media availability results in immediate fines without debate or excuses. The WNBA must show it upholds the same professional standards. Fans matter greatly to the league's growth, and when players act unprofessionally, it hurts credibility. Thomas's behavior suggests a disregard for these standards and damages the perception of the league. Ironically, Thomas had a positive story to tell, an outstanding individual performance, and could have used the media session to highlight her efforts and professionalism despite the loss. Instead, she became the story for all the wrong reasons. This may have lasting impacts on her relationship with the media, who do not forget when players shirk their responsibilities. It's a self-inflicted wound that could affect future coverage and fan perception. The Mercury's legitimate shot at a title is now clouded by off-court drama. Championships are won by teams that handle adversity professionally, and this episode calls into question Thomas's readiness to lead at that level. The instant karma angle here is striking. She talked trash, lost the game, and then tried to avoid accountability. Now she's facing fines and public criticism, proving actions have consequences. The bottom line, Alyssa Thomas made a poor decision that reflects badly on her team, and the league. Professional athletes have duties beyond the game itself, and media availability is one of them. Thomas acted like the rules didn't apply to her, and now she's about to face the consequences. This karma could not be more fitting. Alyssa Thomas learned the hard way that professional athletes can't just run away when things don't go their way. Skipping mandatory media after talking trash all game is peak unprofessional behavior, and the fines coming her way are fully deserved. What's your take on her cowardly move? Drop your thoughts below. It's important to remember that fans know sports come with boos and heckling. It's part of the atmosphere, but it's how players respond that matters. Thomas clearly lost her cool, and while the reaction to Dana Bonner's departure and booing was understandable from fans, Thomas's response was unprofessional. Her refusal to meet media obligations after stirring the pot is what really turned heads. Despite playing like a star with 32 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists on 63% shooting, she chose to disrespect her profession by running away from accountability. That's not leadership. Other players handle hostile environments and tough losses with grace and still meet their media duties. Thomas, on the other hand, skipped out and made herself the villain. The Mercury's failure to prevent this also shows an organizational weakness. They must hold their players to the highest standards to maintain credibility. The WNBA's consistency in applying penalties will be crucial moving forward. This incident is a reminder that player conduct off the court is just as important as performance on it. The league is watching, fans are watching, and young athletes are watching. The message has to be clear. Professionalism is non-negotiable. Alyssa Thomas had a perfect chance to highlight her hard work despite the loss, but chose drama instead. This hurts not just her, but the whole team's image and championship hopes. The Mercury need to ensure this doesn't happen again, and that players understand their obligations. The WNBA needs to maintain parity with other pro leagues in enforcing rules uniformly. This story also serves as a cautionary tale for all players who might think they're exempt from responsibilities. The league must remain firm to protect its integrity and growth. Fans expect and deserve respect, and skipping media obligations undermines that trust. Alyssa Thomas's choice to disappear after her trash talk makes her look immature and weak, undermining her credibility as a leader. The public backlash is well earned, and fines are just the start of the consequences. In the end, this incident emphasizes that in professional sports, you have to own your actions on and off the court. Alyssa Thomas's case is a perfect example of instant karma. Talk big, but be ready to stand for it when the buzzer sounds. Hollywood buzzing will be keeping a close eye on how the WNBA handles this situation moving forward. Players, teams, and fans alike will learn from this moment. Professionalism isn't optional, it's required. Let me know your thoughts on Alyssa Thomas and this whole mess. Do you think the WNBA should be tougher on players skipping media? Should Thomas get harsher penalties? Or was this all just blown out of proportion? Drop your take below.